Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are re-diving into a diagnostic code that can be a real head-scratcher for Ram truck owners. U0121. Lost communication with the anti-lock brake system module. If you've plugged in your scanner and this code popped up, don't panic. We're going to walk through what it means, what causes it, and how to track down the problem. So, what exactly is code U0121? In simple terms, your truck's main computer, the powertrain control module or PCM, is trying to talk to the ABS module, but it's getting complete silence. The ABS module is crucial. It controls your anti-lock brakes, traction control, and stability control. When the PCM can't get a signal from it, it flags this code and usually lights up your dash with ABS traction control, and sometimes even check engine lights. You might also notice your speedometer acting erratically or not working at all. Since the ABS module often processes wheel speed data, let's break down the common culprits. The issue usually falls into one of three categories: power problems, ground problems, or communication line problems. The ABS module needs a solid power supply and a good ground to function. If either of these is missing, the module goes offline, and you get the U0121 code. The third possibility is a break or short in the communication wires themselves, which are part of the CAN bus network. So, where do we start our diagnosis? First things first, check the fuses. It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how often a blown fuse is the root cause. Grab your owner's manual, locate the fuses for the ABS module, and inspect them carefully. There are usually a few, so be thorough. If a fuse is blown, replace it. If it blows again immediately, you've likely got a short circuit somewhere that needs further investigation. If the fuses are good, our next step is to check for power and ground directly at the ABS module connector. This is where a good wiring diagram and a multimeter become your best friends. You'll need to disconnect the harness from the ABS module, which is typically located on the driver's side frame rail, attached to the hydraulic control unit. Be careful with the connector. They can be a bit tricky. Once it's disconnected, use your wiring diagram to identify the power and ground pins. With the key in the on position, use your multimeter to check for battery voltage at the power pins. You should see a reading close to 12 volts. If you don't have power, you'll need to trace that wire back towards the fuse box to find the break. Next, check the ground pins. Switch your multimeter to the continuity or resistance setting. Test the resistance between the ground pins on the connector and a known good ground point on the chassis, like a clean, unpainted bolt. You should see a very low resistance, ideally less than 1 ohm. A high reading indicates a poor ground connection, which is a very common problem. Look for corroded or loose ground wires, especially the main ground points on the frame and engine block. If both power and ground check out perfectly, the problem is likely in the communication network itself. The CAN bus lines. These are usually a pair of twisted wires. You can check the resistance between the two CAN bus pins at the connector. With the battery disconnected, you should typically see around 60 ohms. A reading of 120 ohms suggests a problem with a terminating resistor or a break in the circuit. A reading near 0 ohms points to a short circuit between the two wires. Finding a break or short in the CAN bus can be tricky. It involves carefully inspecting the wiring harness for any signs of damage. Look for chafing, rubbing, or corrosion, especially where the harness runs along the frame or near moving parts. If you've gone through all these steps, fuses, power, ground, and CAN bus wiring, and everything seems perfect, then it's possible that ABS module itself has failed internally. This is usually the last thing to suspect, as it's more common for a wiring or connection issue to be the cause. To recap, start with the easiest things first. Check your fuses. Then, verify you have good power and ground at the ABS module connector. If those are solid, inspect your CAN bus wiring for damage. By following this logical process, you can systematically pinpoint the cause of that pesky U0121 code and get your Ram back on the road safely. I hope this guide helps you out. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more diagnostic tips and tricks. Got a question? Drop it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.